On today's show, we're going to talk about whether or not the Broncos should/would trade for Justin Fields. Because during our Broncos Chargers watch party, the chat was filled with trade for Fields, trade for Fields, trade for Fields. So I figured we'd address it on today's show. But before we get into all that good stuff, help us reach 20,000 subscribers, less than 100 away, a big milestone in the YouTube world. So if you are looking for a free Broncos YouTube channel, hit that sub button down below. Now let's talk about JF1 because the Chicago Bears have clinched the number one pick in the 2024 NFL Draft via the Carolina Panthers. And now there are plenty of rumors circulating that the Bears might trade Fields and then draft Caleb Williams or Drake May. So could Denver be a destination for Justin Fields? Well, if you're curious about what the contract looks like, Justin Fields still has 2 more years left on his rookie deal, 2024, and then his 2025 fifth-year option is going to run a bill of $21.9 million-ish. So 2 years of rookie contract control, which is an eternity in the NFL. Like, you can learn a lot about a player in 2 years, and if the Broncos decide after those 2 years he's not our guy for the future, well, it really didn't cost you all that much in terms of QB contract-wise. But the first question I think that needs to be asked is Fields a good quarterback, right? Is Justin Fields a quarterback that a fan base and that a team should go and pursue if he really is available this offseason? The box score numbers don't do Fields a lot of justice, right? In his career, he's thrown for 6,500-ish yards over 3 seasons. He's got one of the worst, if not the worst, all-time record for quarterbacks with a minimum number of starts, 40 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. This year, it's been better than I would say the first 2 years, right? Year 1, he was backing up Andy Dalton for a little bit and then taking over and then backing up. Last year, it was kind of I wouldn't say a disaster, but it wasn't the year 2 jump off Bears fans were hoping for. And this year, it was a slow start for Fields, and then he gets injured, and then he comes back, and he's played very well ever since he came back from the thumb injury. But Fields is more than just a passer. He is so great on the ground with his legs. He's got over 2,000 career rushing yards. He averages 6.3 yards a pop, 14 touchdowns. Now, 38 fumbles is a big number. Not all of them lost, and not all of them just from rushing, but there are a lot of quarterbacks who have a lot of fumbles that kind of just get forgotten about since, interceptions tend to pop out more than fumbles do when evaluating quarterbacks. But ultimately, my analysis of Fields is this. He is guilty of holding on the ball for too long. He is an extremely athletic quarterback with a strong arm that makes out-of-structure plays. And there are moments where you're like, Fields had a great opportunity and he missed him downfield. And not meaning missed him like overthrew or underthrew the pass. Just didn't see the guy, which is sometimes even more frustrating, right? But with all the bad, there is a lot of good stuff that comes with Justin Fields. He is one of the most dynamic playmakers in the NFL. His teammates rave about his leadership qualities. He has faced a ton of adversity in a big market city like Chicago, where Bears fans have been dying to get a franchise quarterback, and a lot of pressure was put on JF1, and I think he has done a very good job of battling that pressure. And all in all, I think Fields is a very special quarterback. There are things to work on with him, of course, but ultimately, it's that last little bit that I wrote up there, and that is out-of-structure play, something he does very well, somewhat similar to Russell Wilson and the start of his career in Seattle. And what does Sean Payton hate about Russell Wilson? It's his inability to lead a game in the pocket from start to finish. I don't think Justin Fields is Sean Payton's cup of tea. If Sean Payton is building a dream quarterback at Build-A-Bear Workshop, it is not Justin Fields. It is a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and pick defenses apart in between the numbers. Fields is a very good passer. He is more than just a rusher. I think that gets lost on people, but I don't think Fields is what Sean Payton dreams of when he thinks about what his ideal quarterback would look like. Now, question number 2 is, what would it cost to get Justin Fields? And we're going to answer that via an NFL exec and an NFL insider in just a moment. But first, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Thanks to Prize Picks, I've had some of the most fun watching football and winning up to 25 times my money this season. And I can also play during basketball season as well, so we are not slowing down here. The way Prize Picks works is you select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. So for Week 18, here are my selections. I like the less on C.J. Stroud, rookie quarterback, could be a winner-take-all type of situation in Indianapolis. Might be too much pressure for the rookie. I'll take the less on 270.5 passing yards. I like the more on Drake London for the Falcons at 53.5 receiving yards against a Saints secondary that's been up and down this year. Jonathan Taylor, more on his rushing yards. The Colts are in a do-or-die kind of game, and I think Taylor might thrive in that. And then I like the more on Bijan Robinson's rushing yards against a Saints run defense that has been run over a couple of times this year. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. I've put that link in the comments and description of today's video. We all know there could be some absolute stinkers of games out there, but with Prize Picks, you can stay locked in no matter what. Once again, that's Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. So going back to question number 2, what would it cost to get Justin Fields? So Jeremy Fowler put out an article with a rough idea of what Fields' trade value is at this moment, and I want to share with you guys. Fowler wrote the consensus in an informal poll of league evaluators is that Fields would be worth a second or third round pick in a pre-draft trade. When compared to former top 10 picks recently traded, that's better than Trey Lance, whom Dallas acquired from San Francisco for a 4th round pick, but slightly worse than Sam Darnold, who, along with a 6th round pick, went from the Jets to Carolina for 2nd and 4th rounders. So if the bar is 2nd to 3rd, I think it's going to be much closer to a 2nd round pick than a 3rd round pick for Justin Fields. How about the Broncos trade a 2024 second? Now, I just realized they don't have a 2024 2nd round pick, but maybe they make some moves and they acquire a 2nd rounder and trade it away. So I just think this is probably a good jumping off point. Denver's got a 1st and they've got a 3rd. And I don't think Chicago wants a 3rd from Denver. And I don't think the Broncos want to give up a 1st. So maybe some other trades are made for the Broncos to acquire a 2nd rounder. But this is just a rough idea as to what it might cost to get Justin Fields. So let me know, would you do this trade? Yes or no? Sound off in the comment section below whether or not you would give up a day 2 pick for Justin Fields. Personally, if you haven't noticed just yet, I'll make it abundantly clear now. I'm a Justin Fields believer. I know that quarterback is somewhat split across the league as to whether or not he is a good or great or average or below average quarterback. I know Broncos Country wrestled with the decision to pass on Justin Fields to draft Patrick Surtain. And right now that looks like a pretty good decision given that Pat Surtain is an all-pro cornerback after just 3 seasons in the NFL. But we all know that the quarterback is a much more impactful position than any other position in the entire league. So I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I think he's going to be a really special quarterback, whether it's in Chicago or anywhere else. But ultimately, I'm not the one calling the shots. And I don't think Sean Payton is a big Justin Fields fan, right? When you think about what Sean Payton looks for in a quarterback, what he had in Drew Brees, Justin Fields could not be more different than what Drew Brees is as a quarterback. And then you look at you look at Russell Wilson this year and Sean Payton getting frustrated with a lot of things that Russell Wilson does similar to Justin Fields. Hold on to the ball too long, right? And ultimately, that got Russell Wilson benched. Well, Russell Wilson's contract got him benched. But I don't think Sean Payton is going to look at Justin Fields and think, hey, I know I just ran through Russell Wilson for an entire season. Let me go get a younger version of him. I mean, they're not apples to apples, but I just don't see a way Sean Payton lands on. That's the final piece to this puzzle, which is our quarterback problem ever since Peyton Manning retired. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider going ahead and doing so. Lock yourself in for the best Broncos YouTube coverage all year long.